Hello there, friends. It seems like Rogue One is so far away, but time flies, and December will be here before we know it, so hang tight. We'll be plopped back into the Star Wars universe soon enough. Official Rogue One information has slowly been released lately. I've said it a million times, I will not play the game of throwing around leaked or rumored information, but when it comes to the official stuff, the stuff that Disney feels comfortable releasing ahead of the movie, well, I'm all ears. But if you don't want to know a single thing about Rogue One before you step into the theater, shut this video off. Shut it down. The information isn't that surprising and doesn't really give away anything, but I know some of you want to stray away from even the tiniest little things, which I appreciate. So I'll give you 5 seconds to click away from this just in case. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, it's your fault if you stick around. Like I said, the information isn't that surprising, or it doesn't really give anything away, but it has been officially confirmed by Entertainment Weekly that Darth Vader will appear in Rogue One. Quote, 34 years before The Force Awakens, a new brand of heroes fights the dark side, and an old foe, Darth Vader, is back. Close quote. The timeline makes sense for Vader to be in the movie, even on a small scale, which I'm hoping for. Small scale. Anthony Breznican from Entertainment Weekly said, quote, Krennic is trying to fulfill the wishes of the Emperor, and he's got Vader kinda looming in the background over his shoulder, making sure that he gets the job done, close quote. So it looks like Vader will play the middle management position. He'll be that boss that stands over your shoulder while you're doing something you've done a million times before, but because he's breathing over your shoulder, you're fumbling around and unable to concentrate on something you've done a million times before. I like this. I want the film to really focus on the new characters. Am I excited that Vader is back? Yeah, definitely. But I want his role to be small when it comes to screen time, but have an overall grip on the plot. We now know the title and name of Ben Mendelsohn's character. His title and name is Director Krennic. Krennic is described as the military director of the Empire, put in charge to defend the Empire and prevent the rebels from stealing the Death Star plans. Out of all the actors we know of in Rogue One, I am personally most excited to see Ben Mendelsohn. He's so good. If you want to see the scope of his acting ability, one of my favorite performances of his, and just how weird, scary, and strange he can be, check out the Netflix show Bloodline, and then you'll understand just how excited I am to see him as an Imperial agent in Rogue One. From the Rogue One trailer, we know that Felicity Jones is playing Jyn Erso, but we now know some other names to put with other faces. Diego Luna is Captain Cassian Andor, an officer in the Rebel Alliance. Yang Wen plays Baze, an assassin. Riz Ahmed plays a rebel soldier by the name of Bodhi, or Bodhi, or Bodhi, I've only seen this written. A spiritual warrior named Chirrut is played by Donnie Yen, and Alan Tudyk will portray a CGI Imperial Enforcer droid who teams up with the rebels, and his name or classification is K2S0. If you watched the Clone Wars, which I didn't, but if you did, then you probably have seen Forrest Whitaker's character before. He is playing Saul Gerrera. Now, I don't know anything about this character, so I'm just going on what I've read at this point, but Saul Gerrera has been labeled kind of a rebel extremist. On the Clone Wars, it has been told to me that he was described as a terrorist multiple times. From what I've read, he seems like a very interesting character, one whose morality may come into question. Make things a little less black and white. Knowing this makes me super excited to see where Rogue One goes. Entertainment Weekly also released a few photos. They look gritty and overall just badass. We see a row of stormtroopers treading through the water, hell yeah. An image of, I believe they're being called Death Troopers, holding a little stormtrooper doll. These guys look awesome. And a bunch of shots of the rebels. All of these images really give us a look at how Rogue One will look and feel. Gritty and dark, they evoke a sense of dread and paint a picture of an underdog scenario. I cannot wait to see how all of this comes together on the big screen. According to Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, the use of an opening crawl for Rogue One is currently being debated. Quote, The crawl and some of those elements live so specifically within the saga films that we are having a lot of discussion about what will define the standalone Star Wars stories separate and apart from the saga films. So we're right in the middle of talking about that. Close quote. Interesting. I've said it before, I would be 100% fine with them not having an opening crawl. I still feel that way. Rogue One should definitely set itself apart, and what a great way to do so by doing something different than the original opening crawl, right off the bat at the beginning of the film. This decision will no doubt impact future standalone films. If I had to guess, I would say that they will use the classic crawl at the beginning of the movie. I think the pressure to have one will make them put one in. Who knows though? But I can imagine a future where they don't include the crawl in the Rogue One theater release, but then they wish they would have put a crawl in because they want to use the crawl in future standalone films. So they'll include a crawl on the DVD, Blu-ray, streaming, and other forms of home viewing. I can imagine that scenario happening, but I ultimately think they will use the crawl. Who knows? It's just a guess. So there you have it. A few little official nuggets of information and statements to let our minds wander over the next... How many months? How many months do we have? So we're in June. We won't count June. We're 2 days away from June being over. Let's count July, August, September, October, November, December. I wasn't counting. I was just listing off. Whatever. We're close. Hello, Greedo. Out.
With you, it cannot be done.